And at this time, I invite our youth to come to the pulpit.
All right. Blue mic, please. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And we're talking about do not be afraid, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. And to risk yourself and to put yourself out there. Well, that's what these kids did. We left here on June 22nd. We traveled to Charlestown, West Virginia. We were there with 2 other youth groups from around the country. One that's really, really close, which is Meadow Park Church of God, which is right up on Bethel Road. They were there. And then also a church from Summit, New Jersey, Calvary United Methodist. Just to explain to you, they're going to have 2 different stories that they're telling because there were 2 different groups. We were split up into two different groups. My group was called Tigart, and we worked at a particular place that they're going to tell you about. And then also there was the Gully group, and they worked out in the heat the whole time. So here we go. Caden, go ahead and up you go.
Monday was the first day we went to our locations. For me, I was at Bob Burdette, which is essentially a place for kids to get an education during the summer. Also to have some fun meeting other kids when it was during gym time or the games and activities they would do. The first day we were in the gym the whole day so that we could know each age group and connect with them before we decided to go with one group the next day or week that we were there. We had fun and met a lot of kids. We played basketball, passed the soccer ball around. They showed us their best gymnastic moves and tried to teach some of them to us. It was honestly great to be able to see them all smiling and having fun. I've never been the best with kids, but this trip and that day pushed me out of my comfort zone, and others were able to benefit from it. Okay. We had a devotion that night, which included the story of the Samaritan woman, who Jesus knew all the bad things she had done and realized he must be a prophet, and she was ashamed of those things. And she told all of her friends about him and that he could be the Messiah. Then they all became followers of him. When we were there, we didn't try to assume that they or someone they know had done something wrong. We instead talked to them and tried to make them forget about any negative experiences in their life. By doing this, we were showing God's love. Because Jesus encourages us to put our whole hearts and live in God's reign without fear and be ready to receive and give God's love. That's not to say we didn't have some fun after the fact, though, because that evening we went on a scavenger hunt, and there happened to be a tornado warning. So instead of staying in the solid brick building that we were in, we decided it would be a great idea if we crossed the street with a tornado 10 blocks away into a mostly glass building to get ice cream.
That's it.
So yeah, that was at Bob Burdette. That's
Caden, speak into the microphone, son.
Okay. That was us at Bob Burdette, and that's their gym, and we were just passing the soccer ball around with some of the kids. That was in the cafeteria. They were teaching us some little handshake type things. And that was the whole gymnastics thing. That's someone from another church. Yeah.
This is at Union Mission. This is where me and Courtney went on the first day. They were grateful, so grateful that they actually sent us a little message in the mail, like a thank you note yesterday that we got, which just shows how much we really do impact the community there.
That's during the tornado warning.
Yeah. That was the scavenger hunt that we did around town.
After the tornado
Yeah, after the tornado. That was a frog we found.
That was what? That was what?
It's a frog. It's a
That was
frog.
in a parking lot.
Yeah.
After it rained that much. Okay.
All right, very good. Good job, Trey.
Good. The next day was Tuesday, and on Tuesday we were not able to return to Union Mission, which is the picture you saw on the first day, because their power went out from the tornado actually, so no one was allowed to go and work there. So they left us at the community center, which at the beginning I was thinking like, oh, we can't go back and help the community, but it turns out that they had the community garden in the backyard of the community center. So a bunch of people would come and they'd garden, and then we would help them. We helped them replant the strawberries because the strawberries were overgrown in one area, so we helped spread them out, as well as some people also helped pick weeds, and we also helped compost and make dirt. Making the dirt was really interesting because I didn't know how it was made or anything, but it turns out you take like a compost as well as a bunch of like greens and weeds, and the microorganisms inside, they really help break down everything, and it gets pretty hot. It gets up to like 120 degrees, which really helps break it down and make dirt, and we were able to spread that dirt throughout the community garden, which was really helpful for them. As well as I learned that garlic, you have to hang it upside down like on like the ceiling to help dry it out, so I thought that was pretty cool. And then the word of the day, that day was full. So we had a devotion book, and each day we would go through it, and on Tuesday the word was full. Now I felt like my day on Tuesday was very fulfilling, because even though we were not able to go to the place where we were originally scheduled to do, we were able to help out the community in a good and positive way.
Good job.
That is Angie in the morning before she's had her coffee.
This is at Bob Burdett. This is the math room, and that was the math teacher in the background. All the kids loved him. He really helped them out with their math.
Amazing.
And then this was the reading room, so the kids did reading lessons in this room.
This was where the dirt was cooking up, and this is where we got the dirt from to help spread it. And that is a community garden that we helped at. That is the strawberries that we replanted. They were over, Courtney, I think that's you in the orange shirt. They were all over in that area, but instead we spread them out, so wherever there's hay, there's also strawberry plants. That is the dirt cooking. And then that's the garlic hanging from the ceiling. Okay, so the next few slides kind of interact with each other. So that is the community pool, which was there in the 50s, and they had to remove it. So now if you go back to the last slide, that's what it's looking like now. But the reason that they chose to remove it is instead of desegregating it and making the pool desegregated, the community decided that it'd just be easier to get rid of it. For whatever reasons, they decided not to have a nice pool at the community center. And this is where we'd meet for devotion at night.
All right.
Good job.
Okay. So Wednesday, it started out like every other day. We went to our work sites. I went to Bob Burdett while the others went to work at a school. And after like playing with the kids all day and helping them with their studies, we went to this Southern Baptist church. The atmosphere in the Southern Baptist church was different than anything we've ever experienced before. They were welcoming and really loud. We were up on our feet most of the time, clapping and having a great time. They were so welcoming that they invited us up in front of their church to perform a song. We performed Light the Fire, which is a camp song we sing at camp all the time. We ended up being able to perform that with the church, the Meadow Park Church of God, too, because they happened to know the words, too. And during that song, everybody joined in. The organist started playing his piano. One of the ladies was tapping her tambourine, and everybody was clapping and having a great time. After performing that, the pastor's sister shared a moving message about how you really need people to like loving you and everything, because she had pushed everybody in her life away up to a certain point in her life where she just broke and realized. And at that point where she broke, she realized that people who were trying to help her like grow and everything, she really needed them and that they loved her and that she needed God to help her through all of her days. After going to the Baptist church, we ended up going back and having another gathering at the place we were staying while the New Jersey people went to get ice cream and take pictures. At the gathering, we were just ready to worship, which made the atmosphere in there so powerful. Whenever we would sing a song, we would fill up the whole entire room. It wouldn't just be, we would fill it up. There was only like 20 of us, and we would fill it as much as we would fill it the day before with 50 of us in it. It was just so amazing to see how little of us could fill up a room with so much noise and music. By the end of the day, we were just one big unity, and we were just closer together as a church and as a whole group at YouthWorks. Okay. That's at Bob Burdette.
That's me and Nick's group Gully working at Dunbar, and it was 91 degrees outside, and it was hot. And that was us after all of our work, just passed out. And that's us. Okay, so for dinner we had to perform something, and so we just did a conga line saying what was on the table.
This is inside the Baptist church waiting for the church service to start. And then that's Renee. She was one of the girls in the group at Bob Burdette. She goes to Summit. She lives in Summit, New Jersey. We had a lot of fun with her. And then this is a video of us singing Light the Fire.
Thursday was the fourth day. We arrived at a community garden in Dunbar. Dunbar is a town in West Virginia that has gone downhill over the years. On Wednesday, we helped clean up a school that is not being taken care of right, and Sharon, the woman we were helping, told us that the kids who go to that school live in poverty and have no respect for anyone but themselves. Everything that we were helping Sharon with was for Dunbar and for it to become better than it is. We pulled some weeds in the garden and then mostly mulched. After we finished mulching, Sharon gave us a treat because of how hard we had worked and took us to a pool. After helping Sharon, we had a barbecue in the backyard. Then we had a dance party. We did a lot of line dances and then danced/jumped and sang along to songs. After all that was our last night gathering. It was good because when we were singing, all of us joined together to sway. I really saw God there because I had only been there for about a week and was already making connections with people through God. The best part was that we weren't all in the same denomination, but we were there to serve God and spread His love by helping others. Then it was the washing of feet, which is an amazing experience, and it was very emotional for Dad and I. Because after my feet got washed, I got blessed by Angie, which was a sweet and moving moment, but then I was last with my dad, and we both lost it. There were a couple of laughs here and there, but there was mostly tears. Probably the biggest reason I cried was because I was leaving people that I didn't want to leave. And I was also crying because I saw so much of God and the way He moved through all of us and the way His love really showed in this trip. After that, Nick, Sarah, and Kaden and I thought we were going to a youth leader meeting, but instead the counselors came out with Angie's cake, and then all of us started singing Happy Birthday because it was her birthday that day. Our devotions had a word on it, and that day it was shared. I think that Golly really shared our compassion and love towards God on Wednesday and Thursday because of how hard we had worked and got to know more about Dunbar and Sharon and how much Sharon has a lot of hope and faith to bring Dunbar back on its feet. That's the community garden that we helped mulch and weed. That's the mulch. That's someone from Summit, New Jersey with Angie. And if you see that little girl back there, she's holding newspapers. We pulled the weeds in the path, and then we also put newspapers down and mulched on top, which I've never done before. In that picture, the one on the left with the white polo, that was the leader for New Jersey with our group. And then yellow shirt and green shirt was Jim and Sharon, the people who we helped work with. That's Clucky Ducky. That's our mascot. There's him sunbathing. There's him chilling at the pool.
This is a picture of Tigart in front of the youth work sign. This was our whole group.
We were the only group with all three groups in it. We had representation from Meadow Park, Summit, and Advent all in our group, which was kind of cool.
That's us dancing.
Happy birthday, dear Angie. Happy birthday to you.
Friday.
So this was our team. That was the team from YouthWorks. Those were employees of YouthWorks that dedicate their whole summer. They're in college, and they dedicate their whole summer to doing this ministry in Charleston. They are in charge of everything from the gatherings to the sites themselves to anything that happens pretty much during that whole event. They are responsible for it. And there we are, safe and sound back in Columbus.